Have you ever wondered why a single afternoon can feel endless, yet an entire year disappears before you even notice? When you look closer, you realize your brain isn't measuring time by the clock. It measures time by how much novelty you feed it. As a kid, everything feels new, so your mind pays attention to every tiny detail. That attention stretches your sense of time. You remember more, so it feels longer. Nothing mystical, just the brain doing its job. Then you grow up. You build routines, repeat the same actions, walk the same routes, think the same thoughts. Your brain stops recording the details it already knows. Days blend. Weeks blur. Suddenly, 12 months feel like one. You didn't live less time. You just stored less of it. And when the brain has fewer markers, time speeds up in your memory. The interesting part is how quickly this can shift. The moment you add new experiences, even small ones, your perception expands again. A new skill, a different route to work, a slightly uncomfortable challenge. Anything that forces your mind to pay attention creates more mental snapshots. And those snapshots slow down the way you remember time. You gain the sense of having lived more instead of just passing through. There's also a subtle trap most people fall into. You tend to overestimate what you can accomplish in one day. You load your schedule, you get frustrated when it doesn't fit. But at the same time, you underestimate what consistent action can create over a year. That mismatch distorts how you judge your progress. Daily expectations feel heavy, yet long-term growth feels invisible. If you want to work with your brain instead of fighting it, start small. Add one new experience into your routine. Leave space in your schedule so daily tasks don't overwhelm your sense of time. And track your progress over months, not hours. When you do that, time stops slipping away so quickly you begin to feel the weight of your days again. Stop telling yourself you're making progress just because your calendar is full. You know it too. Being busy doesn't mean you're actually moving forward. When you run from task to task without intention, you drain energy on things that don't shift your life in any meaningful direction. I want you to catch that moment when you say, "I had a productive day," and ask yourself if you're measuring results or simply measuring exhaustion. Once you see the difference, your focus sharpens. You stop chasing activity and start choosing actions that actually move the needle. There's a simple way to cut through the confusion, and it's the deathbed test. Picture yourself at the very end of your life, looking back at the choices you made. You won't care about how many small errands you completed or how many pointless obligations you agreed to. You'll care about whether you invested your time in the things that mattered to you. Use that filter today, not someday. When a task appears on your plate, test it against that moment. If it won't matter then, don't let it consume your time now. This isn't dramatic thinking. It's practical clarity. You also need to be honest about what to avoid. Focus isn't just choosing the right work. It's actively refusing the distractions that quietly steal your attention. You have patterns, temptations, habits, and invitations that look harmless but pull you off track. When you identify them, you regain control. You stop being reactive and start being deliberate. Write down the specific things that derail you. Once you see them plainly, it becomes easier to say no without guilt. Elimination is your next step. Not organizing, not optimizing, eliminating. Non-essential tasks will always expand if you let them. Treat them like clutter. Remove them so your attention can rest on what truly matters. Ask yourself what you can cut today without losing anything important. Clear one thing, then another. Each removal gives you more mental and emotional space to pour into the work that actually moves your life forward. Do this consistently, and your focus stops scattering. You begin to act with intention instead of urgency. And that's when real progress finally starts. You notice it in quiet moments. A relationship doesn't suddenly fall apart or suddenly become great. It shifts one small interaction at a time. You see it in how someone looks at you after a long day, or how the energy feels lighter when both of you make tiny efforts that seem insignificant on their own. Those small signals tell you more about the health of a connection than any big declaration ever could. Think of every relationship as a bank account. Every word, every gesture, every bit of attention becomes either a deposit or a withdrawal. You don't need dramatic surprises or intense conversations every week. You just need steady deposits. A quick check-in, a genuine thank you, a moment where you choose patience instead of defensiveness. When you stack enough of these small choices, the balance grows, and you start to feel safer with each other. This is why daily interactions matter more than any grand gesture. Grand gestures can impress, but they rarely change long-term patterns. What truly builds stability is consistency. When you show up the same way on ordinary days, you give the relationship a rhythm. You make it easier for the other person to trust that you'll still be there tomorrow. So pay attention to the details. How you listen. How you end a conversation. How you respond when you're frustrated. These are the daily habits that shape the outcome. There's also a strange strength that comes from shared difficulty. When you go through something hard with someone and both of you choose to stay present, the bond tightens. Not because the pain is pleasant, but because you see each other's real edges. You learn how the other person reacts under pressure. You learn how to support and be supported. Those moments create a depth that comfort alone can't produce. And don't overlook weak ties. The people you interact with lightly, colleagues, acquaintances, someone you cross paths with weekly, can bring new ideas, fresh angles, and unexpected opportunities. Keeping these connections alive, with simple, steady effort, expands your world. You don't need intensity, you just need consistency. Stepping into your next stage at work becomes easier when you accept that your best opportunities rarely sit inside the space where everything feels familiar. You grow faster when you stretch yourself. You can take on the project that scares you a little, volunteer for the task no one else wants, or move toward a role that demands new skills. Each step outside that comfort zone gives you proof that you can handle more than you thought. That confidence compounds and pushes your career forward with momentum you can actually feel. Your path becomes clearer when you stop trying to optimize for quick rewards and start focusing on long-term learning. In your 20s and 30s, every challenge that teaches you something will pay you back later. You want to chase skills, not short-term status. You want to build range, not just a title. When you treat your early career as a training ground, you give yourself room to experiment, fail, adjust, and collect the kind of experience that makes you valuable in any environment. The shape of a career today is no longer a straight ladder. It moves like a jungle gym. You go sideways to learn a new function. You go diagonal to gain leadership experience. You rotate into a different team to understand how the system works. These moves might look indirect from the outside, but each one expands your perspective. Each one helps you build a base strong enough to carry bigger responsibilities later. You don't wait for permission to advance. You stay flexible and move with intention. You also discover more about your purpose when you pay attention to what you do when you're avoiding work. Productive procrastination shows you where your curiosity naturally pulls you. Maybe you research topics unrelated to your job. Maybe you build small projects on the side. Maybe you dive into tools or skills no one assigned to you. Instead of treating that as a distraction, you can use it as data. It reveals what energizes you, and that clarity helps you choose roles and directions that fit who you are becoming. It's funny how you look back at your own days and realize the moments when everything felt easier weren't about having more hours. They were about having more energy. When your energy rises, tasks that used to drain you suddenly feel doable. When it drops, even simple things feel impossible. You move forward faster when your body and mind feel fueled, not when your calendar looks perfect. So the real shift happens when you start treating your energy level as the asset that guides your decisions. Sleep plays a big part in that. You already know it matters, but you often forget how deeply it shapes your ability to think, recall, and stay focused. A rested brain processes better, solves faster, and handles stress without falling apart. When you protect your sleep, you're not being soft. You're building the base that all your other goals stand on. One night won't fix everything, but consistent nights will change how you show up each morning. You also have to notice how you feel at different times of the day. Your morning self and evening self don't want the same things. In the morning, you usually have more clarity. Decisions feel cleaner. In the evening, your mind slips toward comfort, avoiding anything that feels demanding. When you recognize this difference, you stop fighting it. You start assigning tasks to the version of you best equipped to handle them. That simple shift reduces friction and helps you stay aligned with what you actually want. Small movements matter too. Micro workouts sound tiny, but they wake up your muscles, push more oxygen to your brain, and reset your focus. These quick bursts break long periods of stillness and help you think more clearly. You don't need a full routine. You just need consistent signals to your body that you're not stuck in one state. Each small effort builds momentum. So as you step back, the message is clear. When you manage your energy, every part of your life becomes easier to handle. You think better. You move with intention. You catch yourself before you fall into old patterns. Treat your energy like something you actively shape, not something you wait to recover by chance. And once you do, you'll notice your days start working for you, not against you.